What is study abroad? It is not a vacation abroad. Rather, it is academic growth and interaction with a different culture. Hi, I'm Bill Blomfelt from Ripon College. I'm a senior studying English and German, and I will be talking how academic growth and this interaction with a different culture really helped in stimulating my study abroad experience in Germany. First of all, I will give basic information about Bonn, Germany, where I studied. It's the former capital of West Germany when it was divided after World War II. It's also the birthplace of Ludwig van Beethoven, a great cultural center, and it is the home of the Rheinische Friedrich Wilhelms Universität Bonn, or the University of Bonn. And some famous alumni include Karl Marx, Friedrich Nietzsche, and our current Pope Benedict XVI. So I will talk about a couple of courses I took at the University of Bonn which had a special effect on me as a literature student. And one of them was Literary Bonn, which focuses on the different literary outputs in Bonn, Germany, including Karl Marx's letters that he exchanged with his parents while he was a student, different issues he had, either studying or just personal, and that exchange that was going on. And also Wolfgang Köppen's Das Treibhaus, or the hothouse as it would be in English, which focused on the difficult and concerning situation after World War II, setting up this new government that was supposed to be more democratic, but really questioned the actual how democratic it really was. There was this growing concern that the people thought that the Nazis or sympathizers would take over the government and rule to go against the people. So it was a different kind of course, different perspective of Bonn, culturally and politically. The other course I took was Literature and Magic, which focused on magic theory and how it relates to literature. So a main theory that we worked with was Freud's Allmacht der Gedanken, how supernatural ideas connect to different thoughts of the individual and how these thoughts can be used. So we looked at a variety of texts, Shakespeare's The Tempest, how Prospero uses his thoughts to control the fate of the characters or their thoughts and ideas and perceptions. E.T.A. Hoffmann's The Sandman focuses on the Sandman as a supernatural figure and how it controls the main character, Nathaniel's life, from birth up to his progression, marrying the love of his life. And the last example, and probably the most interesting example, is Thomas Mann's Mario and the Magician, how the supernatural can be used to not only manipulate the individual personally, but also to manipulate them for political reasons. So this text really holds a specific context to Mann's time, Thomas Mann's, because in the 1920s there was the rise of Italian fascism, and this text kind of relates to, the whole magic that an individual can manipulate the public and take over power. And this would become an issue later in Germany in the 1930s. So this was altogether a different kind of perspective of looking at and analyzing literature. The other part of my experience was an excursion. We had many, but probably the most influential was the one to Dresden and Leipzig. Dresden, as you may know, was severely firebombed during the Second World War, and it was also a taste of East Germany. This is a picture of the devastation after the bombing. Somewhat of 97% of the city was destroyed, of the city center, and it was just mass chaos. I mean, as you can see on the right, the city is just left as a wasteland. There's such emptiness and destruction. And it's interesting to look at the city as an example of reconstruction in Germany after the war. And an example of this is Die Frauenkirche, or the Church of Our Lady. As you can see, in 1945, the church just lays in a pile of rubble. In 1991, the situation really isn't much improved, and by 2003, 2006, the church stands as it intentionally was, as a piece of Baroque architecture, and it is quite stunning to look at. It's the same thing with the Dresdner Zwinger, or the outer ward of the palace. You see this process of complete destruction through the firebombings, and then you see this amazing piece of architecture being recreated today. The other part of the excursion was in Leipzig, which plays an important part in the peaceful revolution of the 1980s. And it takes place right at this church, die Nikolaikirche, or the St. Nicholas Church. In the 1980s, people would gather here to talk about various issues, from political to social, how they thought of the GDR government, or basic freedoms to travel, etc. So this voicing was really something that was taking off in the 1980s, and really erupts in 1989 with several demonstrations in September and October. In September, there's this demonstration. Honecker, the leader of the GDR, kind of intervenes and wants to silence this statement, and kind of wants to intimidate them by sending in the Stasi and the military, but it doesn't work out as he expected. In October 9th, 1989, there's this huge demonstration that erupts in the streets of Leipzig. It starts at the St. Nicholas Church and goes into the city center, where over 70,000 people congregate to voice their opinions, their true opinions of the government, of what they were thinking at this time. So it's a truly amazing story of voicing their opinions. And for this excursion, I was experiencing this with other exchange students, mainly from across Europe, but also other students from Asia, from Taiwan, from Japan, and kind of this ongoing conversation back and forth of our own backgrounds, but also how we react to this event that took place in the 1980s, and voicing opinions and voicing their desires for freedom. So that is the ultimate goal, I think, for a study abroad experience. It is this ongoing conversation, whether inside or outside of the classroom. Vielen Dank. Thank you.